At Thanksgiving, my brother said, "We only invite you because you pay for everything, you're not real family." So I laughed, agreed completely, and stopped the $22,000 monthly payments covering their car loans, credit cards, and kids' private school tuition. Before we begin, take a moment to subscribe, say hello below, and tell us where you're watching from. Your support truly means everything. Let's continue. The cranberry sauce gleamed under the dining room chandelier, but I barely noticed. My hands trembled as I set down the serving dish I'd brought. Honey-glazed carrots with thyme, Mom's old recipe. Nobody looked up. Melvin, my older brother, scrolled through his phone. His wife Jennifer adjusted their daughter's bib. My younger sister Elizabeth laughed at something her husband whispered. "Y'all want me to carve the turkey?" I offered, forcing brightness into my voice. Melvin grunted. "Dad usually does it." "Dad's knee is acting up," I said, glancing at our father slumped in his recliner, barely acknowledging the gathering. "I don't mind." The table held 23 people. Melvin's family of 5. Elizabeth's family of 4. Our parents. Various cousins, aunts, uncles. Every year same routine. I'd arrive early, help Mom cook, stay late cleaning. Somewhere between the mac and cheese and the pecan pie, I'd remember why I kept coming back. Family. That's what mattered, right? "Before we eat," Melvin announced, standing with his wine glass, "I want to thank everyone for coming. Family is everything." Everyone murmured agreement. I smiled, feeling warmth spread through my chest. Then Melvin looked directly at me, his expression shifting to something I couldn't quite read. "And Diane, we appreciate you handling things. The finances and all that." Jennifer snickered into her napkin. Elizabeth's eyes darted away from mine. My stomach dropped. The warmth evaporated. "What's that supposed to mean?" I asked quietly. Melvin shrugged, already sitting back down. "Just saying. You know how it is." I didn't know. But I was about to find out. "How what is, Melvin?" I pressed, my voice steadier than I felt. He exchanged a glance with Jennifer, then Elizabeth. Something unspoken passed between them. My sister actually giggled. At 32 years old, she giggled like a teenager with a secret. "Come on, don't make this awkward," Melvin said, cutting into his turkey. "We all know why you're really here." The room went quiet. Cousin Teresa stopped mid-reach for the rolls. Uncle James cleared his throat uncomfortably. Even the kids seemed to sense the shift, their chatter dying down. "Enlighten me," I said, my hands gripping the table edge. Melvin sighed like I was being deliberately difficult. "Fine. We invite you because you pay for everything. The cars, the credit cards, the kids' schools. You're not really family, you're the bank." The words hit me like a physical blow. Jennifer nodded in agreement. Elizabeth stared at her plate, saying nothing, which said everything. "Melvin." Mom gasped, but there was no real conviction in her voice. Dad didn't even look up from his food. "What?" "I'm just being honest," Melvin continued, warming to his theme. "She's been asking to be included for years. Diane, you don't have kids. You're not married. You don't understand what it's like to actually need things. So yeah, we include you because it's convenient." My breathing came shallow. 7 years. 7 years of monthly transfers. $22,000 every single month. Melvin's Tesla loan, $1,800. Jennifer's Range Rover, $1,200. Their 3 kids' private school, $6,500. Elizabeth's husband's business investments, $3,000. Mom and Dad's mortgage after Dad's layoff, $2,800. Credit cards, insurance, groceries, utilities. I'd been 30 when it started. Fresh promotion to senior financial analyst. Melvin had come to me desperate. 7 years ago, Melvin had shown up at my apartment at 11 p.m. Rain soaked his clothes. Tears streaked his face. "I'm drowning. Jennifer wants a divorce." The kids' school sent a final notice. "My credit's destroyed. I'm your brother. Please." I'd written the first check that night. $5,000. "Pay me back when you can," I'd said. "You're saving my life, sis. I swear I'll make this right." Then Elizabeth called. The mom. Then the monthly temporary help became permanent. Automatic transfers I'd set up so they wouldn't have to ask. Just until we get back on our feet, had become 7 years of silence. Sitting at that Thanksgiving table, I realized they'd never once said thank you. Not once in 7 years. No birthday calls asking how I was doing. No Christmas gifts. When I'd had surgery last spring, recovering alone in my apartment, not one of them visited. You know what? I said, and something in my tone made everyone stop eating. You're absolutely right, Melvin. His eyebrows rose. I am. Completely right. I felt a strange calm settling over me, the kind that comes when you finally see clearly. I'm not family. I'm a bank. And you know what banks do when people don't appreciate their services. Melvin's fork paused halfway to his mouth. They close the accounts. Jennifer laughed nervously. Diane, don't be dramatic. Dramatic. I stood, pulling out my phone. Let me show you something. My banking app. See this? These are scheduled transfers. $22,400. Every month. 484 months. I tapped the screen. Cancelled. The color drained from Melvin's face. Wait, you can't just. Can't what? I interrupted, my voice sharp enough to cut glass. Can't stop being your ATM? Watch me. Jennifer's hands fluttered to her chest. But the kids' tuition is due next week. That sounds like a you problem, I said, surprised by how steady I felt. You just told everyone I'm not really family. Why would a stranger pay for your kids' education? Elizabeth finally spoke, her voice small. Dee, come on. Don't be like this. I turned to her slowly. Be like what? Honest? Like Melvin was being honest. That's different, she whispered. How? She had no answer. Mom stood, wringing her hands. Baby, Melvin didn't mean it like that. He's just stressed. Business has been hard. Mom, stop. The word came out harder than intended. Just stop. You've been letting them treat me like this for years. Did you know Melvin told his friends I'm pathetic? That I pay for their lives because I have nothing else. Mom's face crumpled. He said that. Last Christmas. I overheard him in the garage. I looked at Melvin. You called me desperate. Said I'm buying love because no one wants me. Melvin had the decency to look away. Jennifer's mouth opened, then closed. The Tesla's payment is due in 5 days, I continued, my voice eerily calm. The Range Rover in 8. The school called me yesterday. They need the quarterly payment by Monday. Your mortgage, Mom and Dad, that's due the 15th. Dad finally looked up, panic creeping into his eyes. None of it's coming. Not anymore. You're being vindictive. Jennifer shrieked, standing abruptly. Over words? Grow up. Something snapped inside me. Words? Words. My voice rose. You people have been using me for 7 years. Not once, did any of you ask how I was doing. When I had surgery, who visited? Nobody. When I got promoted last year, who celebrated with me? Nobody. My birthday 3 months ago. Who even texted? Nobody. The room was silent except for my ragged breathing. But every month, like clockwork, you took my money. You drove cars I paid for. Sent your kids to schools I funded. Wore clothes bought with my credit cards that I paid off. And you know what the worst part is? I looked at each of them in turn. I would have kept doing it. If you just pretended to care. If you'd sent a card. Made a phone call. Anything. But you couldn't even fake it. Melvin stood, his jaw tight. You're my sister. You're supposed to help family. And you're my brother. You're supposed to love family. Seems we both failed. This is childish, he spat. Over some stupid comment. Stupid. I laughed, but it held no humor. Melvin, you literally said I'm not real family. In front of everyone. You meant it. I saw it in your eyes. Jennifer grabbed Melvin's arm. Fix this. The school. The school isn't my responsibility, I said. Your children aren't my responsibility. None of you are. Elizabeth was crying now, her husband Antoine looking uncomfortable. Dee, please. We need. I know what you need. You need $22,000 monthly. From someone who's not really family. I walked toward the door, grabbing my coat from the rack. Behind me, chaos erupted. Jennifer's voice hit a pitch that probably frightened dogs. Melvin slammed his fist on the table. Mom pleaded with Dad to do something. Cousin Teresa muttered about family loyalty while checking her own phone, probably calculating if I'd ever given her money too. Diane, wait. Dad's voice stopped me at the door. He'd finally risen from his recliner, limping toward me. Let's talk about this rationally. Rationally? I faced him. Dad, when's my birthday? He blinked. It's in the spring, isn't it? October. It was 6 weeks ago. I turned 37. My voice cracked. You forgot because you don't actually care. None of you do. That's not fair, Mom said, tears streaming. We love you. No, you love what I provide. There's a difference. I opened the door. Cold November air rushed in. You want to know what's really unfair? I sacrificed everything. I could have bought a house, started a business, traveled the world. Instead, I worked 60-hour weeks so Melvin could drive a Tesla and Elizabeth's husband could play investor. Antoine stepped forward, defensive. My businesses are legitimate. You've invested $90,000 of my dollars in 3 years. Name one successful venture. He couldn't. That's what I thought. I looked at my parents one last time. When Dad got laid off, I didn't hesitate. I covered your mortgage immediately. For 4 years. Did you know I've been living in a studio apartment? Because I couldn't afford anything bigger after paying for your 4-bedroom house. Mom's sob echoed through the room. I'm done. Don't call me. The next morning my phone exploded with messages. 73 texts. 41 missed calls. Voicemails full of rage, tears, and desperate pleas. I blocked Melvin immediately. Then Jennifer. Then Elizabeth. The message to my parents reads simply, I love you but I can't do this anymore. I need space. My manager at work, Patricia, found me crying in the bathroom Tuesday morning. She was a kind black woman in her 50s, with wisdom that came from lived experience. What happened, baby girl? She asked, handing me tissues. I told her everything. The Thanksgiving disaster. The 7 years of payments. The cruel words that finally broke me. Patricia's face hardened. They said what now? That I'm not real family. Just the bank. He pulled me into a hug. Listen to me. Blood doesn't make family. Love does. Respect does. And baby, what they did wasn't love. But they're going to lose everything, I whispered. The kids' school, the cars, the house. That's not your fault. That's called consequences. Patricia pulled back, looking me in the eyes. How much have you given them? I did quick math. About $1,800,000. Her eyes widened. Jesus Christ. Diane, that's generational wealth. You gave them generational wealth. The number hit differently, spoken aloud. I'd never calculated the total before. Nearly $2 million. Gone. And they called you not real family, Patricia repeated, shaking her head. Baby, you're better than me. I would have done worse than cancel payments. By Friday, reality hit them. Melvin called from Jennifer's phone. I'd forgotten to block her number. The bank's threatening repossession, he said, skipping any greeting. Both cars. This is insane, Diane. You're destroying our lives over hurt feelings. Hurt feelings. I repeated slowly. Is that what you think this is about? What else? I said something stupid when I was stressed. People make mistakes. Melvin, you didn't slip and say something mean. You articulated a belief you've held for years. That I'm not real family. That I'm just useful. I didn't mean. Yes, you did. And you know what? You freed me. I spent 7 years trying to earn your love. Trying to be enough. And you made it clear I never will be. So thank you. The kids, Diane. Think about the kids. They'll have to change schools mid-year. Your kids. Not mine. You made that clear. I felt my resolve strengthening. You have 2 college degrees between you and Jennifer. You drive a Tesla. Well, for now. You live in a nice neighborhood. You're not destitute. You're just accustomed to living beyond your means on someone else's dime. We can't afford. Then downsize. Get a used car. Public schools are free. It's called budgeting. Normal people do it every day. You're being cruel, he hissed. No, Melvin. I'm being done. I hung up. Blocked Jennifer's number. Then I blocked Elizabeth's husband, 3 cousins, and 2 aunts who'd started texting asking if I could help them out too, since I apparently had so much to give away. My phone finally went quiet. Cleaning out my email, I found something that made my blood run cold. A group chat I'd never been included in. Melvin had accidentally forwarded it 2 years ago. I'd never opened the attachment. The subject line, Diane's monthly contribution. With shaking hands I opened it. Melvin, she transferred it. We're good for another month. Jennifer, thank God. I already ordered the kids' summer camp stuff. Elizabeth, did she ask any questions? Melvin, no. He never does. It's kind of pathetic. Jennifer, she really thinks you guys are close. Melvin, she's desperate to belong. Only child syndrome or whatever. Elizabeth, she's not an only child. We exist. Melvin, yeah, but we don't count her. You know what I mean. Jennifer, remember when she asked to go to dinner for her birthday? Melvin, God, that was awkward. Who celebrates 35? Elizabeth, we should probably do something nice for her occasionally. Keep her hooked. Melvin, like what? Elizabeth, I don't know. Call her. Pretend to care about her job? Jennifer, too much effort. She's not going anywhere. Where else does she have to put her money? Melvin, true. He's got no husband, no kids, no life. We're doing her a favor, really. Giving her purpose. The messages continued. 3 years of conversations. Planning purchases with my money. Mocking my loneliness. Strategizing how to ask for more without seeming greedy. I vomited into my trash can. I forwarded the emails to Mom and Dad. No message. Just the thread. Mom called within minutes, sobbing. Baby, I didn't know. I swear I didn't know. Didn't know what? That your son is cruel? That he's been using me? That all of you saw me as nothing but a wallet? Not all of us. Mom, you knew. Maybe not about the messages, but you knew they didn't respect me. You watched it happen at every holiday, every gathering. You never said anything. I hoped you knew we loved you despite. Despite what, Mom? Despite what? Silence. Say it. Despite the fact that I'm apparently pathetic? That celebrating my birthday at 35 is embarrassing? That I'm desperate for family? That's not what I... Read the messages, Mom. Read what your son really thinks of me. Read how your daughter agreed. How they laughed at me. And then tell me again about love. Dad got on the phone. Diane, this is getting out of hand. Yes, Melvin was cruel. But destroying the whole family over it. I'm not destroying anything. I'm just not rebuilding what they burned down. My voice was ice. You're losing your house, aren't you? The bank called yesterday, he admitted quietly. And you want me to fix it. You're our daughter. And Melvin is your son. You raised him to be this person. You enabled this. Did you ever once tell them to appreciate me? To treat me better? We didn't want to interfere. But you'll interfere now. Now that the money's gone. That's the only time I matter. By mid-December, the destruction was complete. Melvin's Tesla was repossessed. The Range Rover followed. Their kids started at public school after winter break. Good schools, but not prestigious. Elizabeth's husband's investment fund collapsed without my monthly injections. Mom and Dad listed their house. Me. I took the money I would have sent them in December and January, $44,000, and put a down payment on a 2-bedroom condo. My first real home at 37. Patricia helped me move in. We painted the bedroom a soft lavender. Hung artwork I'd bought from a local black artist. I bought a Real bed, not the futon I'd been sleeping on for 7 years. How does it feel? Patricia asked, handing me a glass of wine as we sat on my new couch. Also a first. Like I can breathe, I admitted. And like I'm the worst person alive. You're not. They're suffering, Patricia. Melvin had to get a second job. Jennifer's working retail. The kids are devastated. Mom calls crying every day. I caused that. Patricia set down her wine. Let me tell you a story. My sister did the same thing to me. For 15 years I paid her rent, her car, her everything. You know when she thanked me? Never. You know when she called me family? Only when she needed money. It took my husband dying and her asking for a small loan at his funeral for me to wake up. I stared at her. I didn't know. As I was ashamed. I thought it meant something was wrong with me, that I wasn't lovable enough without money attached. Her eyes were wet. But the truth is, some people are takers. They'll drain you dry and blame you for being empty. 3 days before Christmas, I got a text from Elizabeth. Not blocked because I'd forgotten her second number. Elizabeth, the kids are crying because there's no presents. Melvin lost his house. Mom and Dad are moving into a shelter temporarily. Are you happy now? I stared at the message for an hour before responding. Yeah, I loved you. All of you. For 7 years I gave everything I had. Not just money, my time, my energy, my hope. I worked until I collapsed so you could live comfortably. I went without so you could have. And you laughed at me. Called me pathetic. Said I wasn't real family. Melvin said I have no life, that you're doing me a favor by letting me pay for yours. So answer me this. Where was your love when I needed it? Where was Melvin when I had surgery? Where were you on my birthdays? Where was family when it wasn't about money? Elizabeth, we made mistakes. But this punishment doesn't fit. You're destroying lives. Me, I'm not destroying anything. I'm just not saving you anymore. And that's not the same thing. You're adults. You have jobs. You have skills. Build your own lives. Like I had to. Elizabeth, with what? We're broke because of you. Me, you're broke because you spent 7 years living beyond your means on someone else's sacrifice. I didn't create this problem. I just stopped being the solution. Elizabeth, I hope you're happy all alone in your freedom. You're going to die alone, Diane. No family. No one. And you'll deserve it. That message broke something in me that couldn't be repaired. The cruelty of it. The viciousness. I spent Christmas alone. Not tragically. I ordered Thai food, watched movies Patricia recommended, and slept without nightmares for the first time in months. On New Year's Eve, I calculated my finances. Without the monthly $22,000 drain, I could save $15,000 monthly after my own comfortable living expenses. By 45, I'd have $1.4 million saved. Retirement secured. Freedom real. My phone rang at 11:47 p.m. Against my better judgment, I answered. Baby, she whispered. I need you to know something. Your daddy and I are divorcing. What? I've been thinking about what you said. About enabling Melvin. About watching them hurt you. She took a shaky breath. Your daddy told me to choose. Him and Melvin or you. He said if I kept trying to contact you, he'd leave. Mom. I chose you, baby. Too late, I know. But I chose you. I'm moving to a senior apartment. Working part-time. Starting over at 63. She laughed through tears. Maybe I'll finally learn what you tried to teach us. That love isn't about money. We cried together. It wasn't forgiveness exactly. But it was something. Beginning maybe. Or an end. Perhaps both. As midnight struck and fireworks lit my city's sky, I realized the truth. I hadn't lost my family that Thanksgiving. I'd freed myself from people who were never family at all. The price was everything I'd built for them. But what I bought was myself. And that, finally, was enough. Sometimes the saddest endings are really the beginning of something better. Sometimes walking away from everyone is how you finally find yourself. If this story touched you, hit subscribe, because healing isn't about happy endings. It's about true ones.